The very path that we choose to take is absolutely perfect. Not always for the momentary joys or hardship, but rather teaching our soul its biggest lesson. See, we are all just explorers on an infinite journey to find our true soul's purpose. The lucky ones will recognize this from the earliest of lessons. Others must be shown again and again before they realize what it is they are truly here for. At last it will hit you. It's like nothing that's ever hit you before. All of a sudden you know that the planet we call home is now your canvas, and you are about to create a masterpiece. Your focus is that of a laser, your drive untouchable, and your destination unavoidable. There will be no question to those around you. Many you will have to convince, but they too will see in a short time that you are now exactly where you're supposed to be.
The better you are,
the less reward you have.
Yeah, the bigger it is. I want to just live there and own like all over. You can go.
That's why I go
anywhere.
the most. He knows all the trails.
You can go
It's so
anywhere.
fun.
Come in. Let me know. The second set of forks is not a bad choice.
What?
That's the ones that you want on. That's the OG setting. But if you like the originals, then
No, I mean it wasn't. I don't like anything right now. I'm just fighting myself. So we just need just go back to how it was. Leave it.
and we can do this all over again tomorrow.
Probably
Yeah,
have to.
Because we're not even getting a good read on this set of forks.
From then on, I think I transitioned to my dad's side, and he took over. My mom was always there, but it wasn't no longer just her. It was my dad and my mom now, and we ended up living in a fifth wheel for 3 years, I'd say, just traveling around to every race. And at the time, it was so fun. And we'd live at tracks, we'd live everywhere. So we'd just be like, hey, you wanna go to Texas for a week? Let's go to Texas. Or, all right, we gotta train for Loretta's, so let's go there a couple weeks earlier. And looking back, it was so much fun just traveling around the world. But it was really stressful. It was kind of just me, my dad, my mom, and my sister all on a fifth wheel. And they were kind of all just banking on me. You know, they were all pushing me. They were there for me. You know, I got more serious as I got on team. Like I started getting bikes from companies and more sponsors, and money would roll in like that. And so it got more serious, but it was still just fun for me. I wouldn't train much. I would do it here a little. I'd do a little bit here and there, and it wasn't much. It was just ride every day. I was young and I didn't realize that at the time. You know, it was kind of just like, I want to ride and I want to race. I didn't look at the future really. You know, now that I look at it, I was just having fun and just being a kid. But they were looking at it like, this could be my career. But I didn't see it at the time. You know, my dad kind of got into some bad stuff. And a lot of people know, but it's kind of ruined my whole family, where it's just taken a toll on everybody. And you know, we've tried to help, and I love my dad and everything that he's done for me and everything, but at a time you only do so much, and it was time to just step away from that and do everything on my own. I just can't be around it, you know? So I think that was a good idea. For sure, it's made our relationship a little bit better, but unfortunately, he just, you know, you can only do so much. It's ruined a family, you know. It ruins people's lives and everything around them. It sucks because the people that do it don't know how bad it affects other people, and they don't think it's that bad, but little do they know they're losing everything. You can have everything one day and you get hooked on some stuff, you lose it all. You know, you try to be a good person, but you go and do that stuff, you know, people just don't want to be around that. And yeah, I've seen it all, to where, you know, it's torn a family apart. I'd say since 2009, it's been separation. And a lot of it's my fault. A lot of it's, you know, I'm not gonna put all the blame on them. I could reach out if I wanted to, but to better myself, I don't do it. And I see my dad at the tracks. He still does this, he still trains some people, and you know, I'll say hi to him, give him a hug, but I think he knows that, you know, it's the furthest it's gonna go. He'll come over and see my son and hang out every once in a while, but fortunately, I just can't let it happen. You know, sometimes I feel like I want them around to see my son grow up, and you know, they were there for me when I was little, but I kind of have my own family, and I'm building my own family now, and it's made me a better man for sure, and how I raise my son, and how I present myself to people for sure. just shut down. It's been like this for like 3 weeks now.
Do you think ever since that big week 2 weeks ago? Or do you think that was good? That whole week? Remember when you
Oh yeah. No, it's before that.
Before that.
Gym wise. Like cycling, I feel fine.
Yeah.
My muscles, I don't know if I'm hitting just a plateau or something.
Nah, I don't think that's it. Like, I don't think this time's as bad
I've yet to like progress.
I don't think this time is better than you think it is though. Like when you think about seconds, like that bike TT we do, you're 2 seconds off. Like, no, I know, I'm just saying. It's not like if it was like a minute, I'd be more concerned.
It's just frustrating. I haven't progressed in a while.
Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, that's.
But I feel like I'm not progressing in anything else.
Yeah, but it could be you're overexerting right now. So you did, okay, so last week 3 by 2,000 you did
20, 730, 730.
Yeah, like I don't see this as being like that. I know it feels awful, but I don't feel it like it's like.
I've yet to get even close to my personal best, which is still way off. In a long time.
Yeah, it is.
Probably like in January since I've done that time.
Yeah. Well, I think rest is going to be the first. I think tomorrow you just ride, focus on get your bike right, do motos, and that's it. And then see how you feel Wednesday. Just so we're not pushing something that doesn't need to be pushed right now. Those feel fine, like on your legs?
Yeah. My legs don't hurt as bad. I just wanted to be a little punk, just kind of like everybody did, you know? I had a truck and was like, oh, let's go ride the track. Let's go do this. Let's go hang out with friends. I didn't train. I rode dirt bikes every day and had fun. My first outdoor race was terrible. I went DNF. I was a young kid, just didn't know what to do, and I got a rude awakening. Doing what I did, DNF was something I should have, it was very bad and it looked bad on myself. And luckily, I went back and put my head down and ended up getting some results, and that opened some doors. But, unfortunately, I thought that this stuff was just gonna get handed to me, but little did I know, it's gonna take some work. And they say I landed on my butt and it folded me in half. So I ended up rolling out of it and I'm sitting there fully conscious. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get up, try to shake this off. And I could not move. I would sit up, my arms and everything were fine, but I couldn't get up. I'm like, what the heck? So I kept moving, and nothing was there. And from right there, it just sank in. And I could not feel my legs from my waist down. And so I started just screaming. It was the worst feeling. Like, I'm gonna be in a wheelchair the rest of my life. I'm never gonna be able to ride, and I'm never gonna be able to walk again. And it was the worst feeling I've ever had. It was the scariest feeling. I just remember screaming. The paramedics get there, and they laid me down on the backboard, and I was kind of folded up, sitting up, trying to, and when they laid me down, it relieved the pressure off my spine, I guess. And I got this sensation through my legs to where I moved my leg and I was like, hey, which is my brother, Jeremy. I'm like, hey, did I just move my leg? And he's like, yeah. And from then on, I was just smiling. I'm like, I'm gonna be fine. And I'm gonna ride again, I'm gonna walk again. I think that crash, I think it derailed my whole career. I'd say I was never myself again. You know, I was leading up to that crash. I've never felt so good on a dirt bike. I was training, I was doing whatever they told me to do. I was putting in the motos, and I felt like I was going so fast. I lost every muscle in my body. I lost 30 pounds while I was in the hospital, and when I was in the hospital, I just was thinking about racing. I want to race. I want to race. Am I going to race? And the team was like, hey, if you come back, we'll have a spot for you. So a year later, they had a spot for me. So I pretty much had to do another tryout again, but right away I showed my speed. It was just, my fitness wasn't there. My whole body was just, it was going to take a lot of building for sure.
So we'd always like creep each other's Facebooks, and so then he messaged me when I had a boyfriend. Hey, what's up, to be exact. And I didn't message him back because I had a boyfriend. And then we saw each other at one of the Anaheims.
There's this cute girl in front of me, or behind me, and I couldn't stop looking at her. I'm like, man, this girl's hot. And so I kept looking at her and just kept staring, and then finally like she looked at me and we locked eyes. I'm like, oh crap, I just blew it.
Made eye contact, love at first sight. And then I broke up with my boyfriend, or we broke up, and then I finally messaged him back, which was like 5 months later after he messaged me, and I'm like, hey, you know, nothing much. So like 5 months later I finally answered him.
And that's where it all started. The rest is history. But
and then we were on the phone for 3 hours that night, and he flew to Minnesota like a week later.
I got that fire where I've never got with some other girl. You know, it's like when I looked at her, I'm like, she's perfect. She's the one for me.
And he told me like 3 days after we started talking that he was gonna marry me. So like that was before we had even like hung out the first time. And I believed him, I guess.
When you get the call saying you don't have a ride, you start freaking out because that's your only income. And I didn't have a lot of riders, when they become privateers, they have families to, you know, fall back onto, or something like that that will help them keep their career going. Well, I didn't have anything to fall back onto.
So we were sitting on the couch that summer. He's like, no, he had no ride. He had heard that Roger DeCoster was gonna maybe talk to him, but that call wasn't coming. And how many freaking times do you hear stuff like that? So that call wasn't coming. He's not patient, and he wasn't gonna just wait around.
Yeah, we were sitting in that apartment. I just remember it's like, hey, I think I'm done. I'm over this. I don't want to live in an apartment anymore. We need to, you know, I want to get engaged and get married, and I want to get a house. I want to start our life and have a baby or have kids and have a normal job to where I have a consistent paycheck. So,
like, even though in all of his interviews and everything, he's always like, man, I wanted to quit racing and all this stuff. Like, I knew, I'm like, dude, you don't want to quit.
I didn't really know what to do, you know? Like, I obviously wanted to go home to Minnesota because my whole family lives there, but he's just picking up everything. You know, that's all he frickin' knows. And I knew what a 9-to-5 was, but he didn't know. And so I knew he'd be missing it, and he did.
It was fun for the first couple months, I'd say. And the first winter was tough. And then, you know, like everybody's work, it just gets old. You're just like, oh, this sucks now.
He would tell me, he'd have a bad day at work, which bad day isn't that bad of a day. But he just wasn't used to a 9-to-5, so he would have a homeowner be like, you know, why isn't this getting done? Why isn't this getting done? He'd come home all frustrated. I'm like, Christian, this is what a normal 9-to-5 is. You know, like you have to deal with people. You have to deal with people who are rude to you. You know, like you have to deal with that. These people don't want your autograph. You know, like they don't know who you are. They don't care who you are. They want their house done.
So it was 2015. I just made it through another winter, which was tough. That one took a toll on me. I was in a bad spot for sure.
So I remember he was like borderline depressed, like coming to me, like he was venting to me, and he was like, dude, we got it. Like, I remember we always used to laugh at each other, like, you're stuck in Minnesota forever, you know? And he'd look at me and he's like, you're stuck forever in Minnesota.
So he'd come to me like, I think I need to go race again. I think, I need to go race again. I'm like, Christian, you had a bad day at work. That doesn't mean you need to go race again. Then we'd, go to sleep that night, and the next morning he'd be fine.
I just had a baby actually in 2014, our first kid, and that was awesome. You know, it took up a lot of that work stress and took a lot of that, I don't know, just a lot of stress off of me. So he helped a lot. And I remember one day in the winter coming back from work, and I was just sitting there with him, and I'm like, he's gonna grow up knowing his dad gave up on his dream, and he's working a job that he doesn't even like to do. And I was just like, I was thinking, I gotta change something. I gotta do something. I can't live like this.
He basically came to me and he was like, I want to quit my job. I want to do this again. I want you to be a part of my program, whatever. And I was like laughing. I'm like, dude, what are you gonna pay me? Like $100 a week? Like, can't live off that. I had an apartment in Minneapolis, and I was like, this isn't gonna go anywhere. And he sucked me in.
Then this last time came up, and he would not let it down. He's like, I want to go to your parents' house. I want to tell them my plan. I'm like, oh, this is really happening. And I didn't think he believed in himself. Like when he used to race, he didn't believe in himself enough. He didn't think he could win. He got 5th in like Utah one year, and we were so happy.
And at the time, it's so hard for them to just give me the okay to do that. I had a consistent paycheck, and we have a house now, and my wife's working, and we have a baby which we have to supply for and pay for and all this stuff. So it's hard for them to just drop everything and let me go racing.
But then he was so persistent, and he's like, I'm gonna train harder than I've ever trained. I can win. And I'm like, okay, that's something he's never said before. Like, he's never believed that he could win, so why should I have believed that he can win? And I'm like, if you don't have that mindset, then we ain't doing this, because we've got a kid now, we've got a mortgage, like we have our whole life figured out, and now you're wanting us to pick it all up and then move to California.
She was scared. They were both scared. I think even Jagger, and he was 2 months old. No, I can't blame him either. I was the supporter for the family. I had the main income, she was working, but I had the insurance and all that. So it was tough. It was a tough deal, but it took a couple times to talk, for sure. I sat him down a couple times to try to convince him. The first time didn't work out so well. They're like, come back in a week and we'll talk about it, see if you want to do it still. They just weren't sure if I had that fire. They didn't know. They're like, hey, you just want to do this because you hate your job, or do you really want to do it? Which made sense.
Christian Craig is back at Redbud. It's been a while since we've seen you. It's exciting to have you here. How are you doing?
Yeah, decided to take some time off of the wheel job and come out here and, come back to where, I was a couple of years ago, and not only have fun, but got a chance, to ride a GEICO Honda, and thought, why not, just come out here and have a good time. I had a 1-year deal with my family. They're like, all right, we'll give you till October. If nothing works out, you're going back to work. It's like, all right. And it was April it was April of 2015, and from then on, I worked my butt off. I worked harder than anybody. I put in more time on the dirt bike. I put on more time off the dirt bike. I dedicated my life to it. And everything that I did consisted of being better on a dirt bike. I called my father-in-law and was like, hey, give me a shot on this bike. And they're like, I don't know if you'll ride a 250. You've been riding a 450 for the past 2 years. So I'm like, I don't care, give me a shot. I'll do whatever it takes. They ended up flying me out the next week to California. Jumped on the bike first day. There was a bunch of the guys out there doing their motos, and I jumped right in and showed my speed, and they're like, all right, we're sending you to the next race. Went out there, I'm like, this is my time to shine. I gotta do this. This is my time to try to get a contract, and I have every opportunity right now to do it. My first practice, I went out there and put a hot lap down and set the fastest lap.
I didn't know if he could even freaking be top 20. Like, I just had no idea. He hadn't raced like to that level in so long. So like to see him first on my phone, I'm like, all right, this can't be right. His transponder must be wrong. Like, not that I don't believe in him, but like first, like against all these guys, like no way.
Went into the motos, still didn't know where I'd be with my fitness. I know I've been putting in the work, but I didn't know if I was gonna be good enough. So ran up there with those guys and finished 4th, my best ever moto finish in my career.
Started crying. It's like he had won. You know, it's like, all right, you proved us wrong already.
One of the team owners of the team called me on my way to the airport, and they're like, we want to sign you for next year. And when I heard that, it was just, I couldn't stop smiling.
I remember once he told me that he wanted to race again, he's like, I'm gonna prove you wrong. And I'm like, I hope you do. And after that race, he did for sure. And right after that, I'm like, all right, we gotta do whatever you gotta do, let's make it happen, because this is where you're supposed to be for sure.
Done? My ears are ringing. Don't touch that.
Jagger.
Get the puppy. I'm taking advantage of this, where if I got this when I was a rookie, I would have been a little punk and probably would have lost my ride here and it would have had nothing in it again. But a lot of riders coming up, they just need to know that it's not easy. Like when you get a ride and you think that you've made it, that's just the beginning. You haven't made anything. You got to make your stamp in motocross. And I see it in so many people that they just go through the motions and they're like, oh, I'm just gonna do this. And you can see that they don't have the fire. They're just doing it to get the paycheck or doing it because there's nothing else out there to do for them. And little do they know, you're getting to ride a dirt bike for a living. You don't know how awesome that is. Like, until you see the other side of it and be a fan, and like I would watch Supercross on Saturday nights and then, you know, have my Sunday football day and then go back to work. Monday, there it is, you know, you're back to work. And now my work is I go and ride a dirt bike on Monday and I'm smiling. You know, my weekend is every day, to where before it was, my weekend was, oh, I'm gonna get to ride Saturday, this is sweet. Now it's every day, and the kids have to take advantage of that. It sucks because they grow up getting handed all this stuff and these sponsors and money, and it's like, oh, it's so hard doing a moto, and they don't know how hard a real job is. I will do anything it takes to be better. I will sit in a gym for 8 hours and do anything my trainer tells me to do to be better if it's gonna benefit me. To where before it was like, how long do I have to be here? I gotta go somewhere, like, oh, I can't work out today. I'm like, how long can I work out today? How long can I ride today? And you know, it shows in your results for sure.
Jagger loves it so much, and I know he's gonna be so proud of him when he can look back and see that he did this for him. He always told me that, like I said, he told me that he wants to prove me wrong in a good way, not in a bad way. But yeah, he said like he wanted to provide for us and like continue doing what he loves to do and to make us proud, and he for sure has.
Guys, we're gonna get him dizzy. You're gonna make him throw up the fruit snacks. It's okay. Too much.
Was he crying?
Too much. Too much. You're okay. Did I get you sick? Look at his face. No more of that. You okay? Alright, go dance. Dance, dance. Oh, he's so busy.
Twerk. Twerk, 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 twerk.